It's time to reveal who is the focus of our next playthrough. It is the great, the amazing, the one and only Sherlock Holmes. The game we are gonna play is the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Why this one? It's a personal favorite of mine because it's the first Sherlock game I've ever played and also the game that made me fall in love with the genre. The playstyle, if you don't know, is investigating crimes and murders and solving them by finding evidence and using your deduction skills. Because after all, you are the great Sherlock Holmes and you can deduce anything. The games of course also contain puzzles, interrogating suspects and your most trusted ally, Dr. John Watson. What's it about? Sherlock becomes the accused instead of the accuser. Everyone is beginning to doubt him and even his most trusted ally, Dr. John Watson, is not sure what to think anymore. Will Sherlock be able to get out of this one and prove his innocence? Or is he not innocent at all? And are we aiding and abetting a criminal? Gee, I hope not. So, let's get to it.
Yeehaw! Ow. La la la. Ow! Ah! What's this? No. Bow bow. Boop boop. La la la.
It's Watson.
Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so. I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle.
Please do.
And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898 when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
There he is. Still looks good, right?
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
Please do. So we're just getting dropped in the middle of a case instead of starting with normally, to look around you, Inspector Lestrade comes walking in with the case or a client or something. So walk, use D. Can't I not use arrows? No, W is D. But I don't remember any of this. It's cool though. Look at the broken showcase and click on it. And also, I tend to start telling a story and then I get distracted and I forget what I wanted to say. So I'll apologize in advance if I'm doing that. To me, this seems like an inside job, but I don't know anything about this. I do remember Sherlock has, what do you call it, deductions at one point.
This window was cut with a diamond, a clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
You always interact with the mouse. After clues examined, the icon will turn green. Please move Sherlock Holmes near the left window. You should see 2 clue icons simultaneously. It has been a while since I played this game, years and years. And my memory is not that great. Alright. To enter examination mode, multi-zone press, you can switch cursor. Look at both clues now.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
But what is that then?
A mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
Or enter through the window. Go to the chimney, you will see the hand icon on the magnifying glass ticket by clicking on it. Is that mine? You can open your inventory by clicking the right mouse. While playing, you can also activate any of your items from your inventory by rolling the central wheel. Oh, like this. I do have a knife. Why do I need that? Matches. And also like this. This is my bag. Pocket knife. Right. These games also always, how do you say it? Keep track of what's been said. So if you don't remember something, you can always look it up here. In this case, it's not that important. Or maybe about the case. But I can do that later. I don't have any notes yet. These are my deductions. I think I don't have any yet. This is at one point at the game you can switch between characters, I believe. So I can become Watson. These are medals. Right, I don't have any. Don't know what this is. Oh, this is just zooming in or something. I don't want to do that. Near the piano, some music scores are on the floor. You can activate an item by selecting it in your inventory directly in the game. Use the magnifying glass. Right, but I have that, don't I? What? Near the piano. I'm in the wrong corner. That explains it.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Yes, let's. Look for clues. Oh, like this.
These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
Press R or middle mouse button to switch to first person. Alright. Or keep left mouse button press to move your character. I can also do this. I don't want first person. You can look like this or this. I don't know, what do I want? This feels like it's even older. This is how you used to play back in the day. To make character move faster, press and hold left shift. Am I doing it wrong? Oh, I did it. I press the space extra Sherlock Holmes 6 cents. Can I search for other people?
The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it. These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
I don't know what the symbol on the left was. It was very quick.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Through the fireplace then.
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Yes, Watson, but why? We don't know that yet. What can I do with this?
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room.
Alright, but there's no evidence here, is there?
Strange. There aren't any prints. Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
What do you mean by prints? Do you mean fingerprints? I don't understand. How do I change my camera view? Did they tell me that?
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
That's suspicious. Maybe the diamond isn't there. Is that not from a movie? Oceans or something? They put it in the aquarium. Alright, I don't know if there are any more clues and if the game tells me if I've seen everything. Or have
Footprints.
not.
You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire.
You don't know that? Oh,
A
what's this?
candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier.
But I can't look at that, can I? No, I cannot. All these paintings, by the way. There's so many. Can I speak with Watson? No, I guess not. I've looked at everything, I think. What was it, spacebar? Oh no, I have
The
not.
fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started.
Is that a deduction or something?
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's no expression at all.
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
In the
The
chandelier.
only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
There is.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I'm pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
That's what I said.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us,
Stop
Holmes.
teasing us.
Exactly, because he is small and remarkably agile,
You're thinking of a monkey?
and a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And
He's
the
always
necklace?
impressed.
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
I called
Because we
it
paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
the
What
fishy.
victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium where they remain now.
There they are.
Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize it. I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box and...
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
What times?
Sirs, duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, without
There,
me.
the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
The case would never
Very
be
well,
solved.
as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
Oh, that was it. That was a quick one. The way he's drinking it.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
If you insist. If I must. Wow, this room looks very big. I've played the newer games more recently. Crimes and Punishments, Devil Daughter, Chapter 1, but that's a totally different setting from these ones. And to be honest, I like them both. But I don't remember the room being this big in the other games. It is the same setup though, it looks, well, except for Chapter 1, because in that game Sherlock is a young boy, so he doesn't live in this apartment yet, and he hasn't met Watson yet either. I believe he does so in the newest games, that's called The Awakened, but I haven't played that yet. Also, I'm just speaking and walking around, literally not doing anything, what I'm supposed to. The Globe Explorer newspaper. Well, let's see, what are they writing about me that's so outrageous? September 1898, Globe Explorer newspaper. Sherlock Holmes at the home of the Marquess of Cunningham. The investigation is a fiasco. Yesterday, the celebrated detective Sherlock Holmes was invited to the manor of the Marquess of Cunningham to supply his conclusions following his investigation into the disappearance of the priceless Samoan necklace. But I did solve that. It should be recalled that the lady called in the detective after the police appeared, flummoxed in the face of the astonishing circumstances surrounding the theft. Indeed, the valuable piece of jewelry disappeared while the door to the room in which it was displayed was locked. The alarm was raised by the servants, alerted by the room's service bell ringing out during the night. When the Marquis, the only person in possession of the key, opened the door, everyone rushed in to extinguish a fire that had started before it was noticed that the necklace had mysteriously vanished. The most astonishing factor is that no thief was found within the room and all the exits were closed. As usual, Mr. Holmes resolved the case in the twinkling of an eye and the jewel was recovered. I will not waste my time on the various explanations as to the disappearance because I would prefer to draw your attention, dear readers, to the last surprising developments in the case. Following the departure of Sherlock Holmes, who placed the necklace in the safe himself, the Marquis noticed that the jewel was nothing but a poor copy of the original. Wait a minute, he told me it was real. Let it not be forgotten that the Samoan necklace, although plain and without ornament, is unique because of the rarity of its pearls. Pearls which are found only in a small part of the lagoon of the archipelago of the same name, and to which scientists attribute their exceptional quality to the strong density of crystal of aragonite that they are made of. The priceless necklace, brought here at the beginning of the century by Lord Fenton Arwick. Gee, what a long story. Have to breathe. The Marquess's grandfather and an eminent explorer should have been part of a daughter's dowry for her marriage to the Duke of Newcastle. So, I am going to place a simple question. Should we not, in all open-mindedness, ask ourselves if the necklace was not simply and deliberately exchanged for a fake by Mr. Holmes himself? Why would I do that? I don't care about money. I am aware, dear readers, that the brutality of this question, without any preconceptions, may certainly shock some of you. But the facts are there, and our thoughts and judgments should not be confused with the regard which we all share for the famous detective. It is not the first time that the Globe Explorer has expressed its reservations as to Sherlock Holmes's methods. Do not forget our counter-investigation into the escape of Arsène Lupin. I've never played that game, by the way. The Frenchman who took malign pleasure in tarnishing the image of a royal family and who, by lucky chance, managed to elude capture by Mr. Holmes. Did they just spoil that entire game, by the way? At the time, we did not hesitate to consider a tacit complicity on the part of the latter. For those who are familiar with Mr. Holmes, it is quite apparent that his character traits show more of the opportunist and brilliant usurper than that of altruistic defender of the law. I would draw the attention of our readers to the suggestion that the description of this gentleman provided by his friend, Dr. John Watson, through his stories is a long way from the truth. There's more. I need to drink a little bit before I can continue. Indeed, his behavior is derisive, contemptuous, hardy, and offensive towards the police. Well, I kinda agree with that. He is a bit arrogant. And in particular towards Inspector Baines, replacing Inspector Lestrade, who's currently convalescent. I was wondering why Lestrade wasn't in this game, so that's why. And an habitual abuser of narcotics such as heroin and cocaine. Yeah, that he is. This is why, dear readers, it is important to disregard Sherlock Holmes' good reputation in order to form an objective opinion and to ask the pertinent questions. Was the necklace that Holmes found already a fake? If that was the case, why did he not mention it, and why should he insist on placing it back within the safe himself? Insist? I did not insist at all, I just did it and everybody agreed. Don't exaggerate things. Has the detective some unsavory interest in this affair, or is it a simple case of deceit in order to steal the extraordinary Samoan necklace? It is up to you, dear readers, to form your own opinions. Well, to be honest, it doesn't seem like you want them to form their own opinions because your article is very manipulative, very much pointing them in a certain direction. But you can count upon your humble servant to continue revealing to the public the doubtful methods and motivations of one who in the future I shall not hesitate to call Sherlock Holmes the usurper. To be continued, O Farley. This is something else. The ancestry of Prince Woodville recognized. The Lords Committee set up in order to verify Prince Woodville's legitimacy. Oh my god. The Lords Committee set up in order to verify Prince Woodville's legitimacy made its conclusions public last night. Without surprise, the prince's title was confirmed. As rumors suggested, in return of an unfavorable opinion by the committee, the prince would have abandoned any claim to the inheritance of the present royal family as well as any political activity. The young man, now aged 28, read history and law at Oxford with a diploma in philosophy. He spent most of his childhood in France, where he acquired a considerable knowledge of the culinary arts. For those who might think this a handicap when integrating into British high society, let me remind you that he is also outstanding on the polo field and plays the bagpipes quite beautifully. Finally, we should add that lately he has become actively involved in charity work and aiding the poor. GB good. Alright, that's it.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow.
I agree.
As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Were you eavesdropping?
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Slander. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I think I'm going to say it's all just slander. Or I'm going to ask about the necklace. That is maybe more interesting.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Can't that wait? Don't you want to clear your name?
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the
eyes.
necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
I did too.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
That is true.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Really? You want to leave it to them? They couldn't even find the necklace.
And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
I smell foul play.
Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewellery?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
Do I have to do it? Oh, it's over here. Don't you have to rub this across your teeth? This looks fake
These
to
three
me.
pearls are of poor quality. This pearl is a different color.
This is definitely not the necklace we
This
had.
pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
I do.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Don't count on it.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector.
Did you like this video? Check out my other videos on my page Fun with Miko and don't forget to subscribe.